In California's San Joaquin Valley, these are days of hard choices for farmers.
We had to cut out actually a couple of crops, and we've had to cut back on our melon program. Plus our trees, our almonds, we're having to reduce the amount of water that we put on them too.
Joe Del Bosque has operated his farm since 1985.
This, I think, is the worst year we've ever had. We're in our third year of drought, and the reservoirs are very low on water.
He's right. Water officials believe the past 3 years could end up as the driest in California's history.
I look out here and I see a beautiful day by the lake. What do you see when you look at this?
I see a dangerously low reservoir. I mean, we are at ground zero for the California drought.
The state's reservoirs are alarmingly low. This is Lake Castaic, north of Los Angeles, now sitting at 53% capacity. To give you some perspective, in good times, the water should be nearly to the top of that dam.
California's Natural Resources Secretary Wade Crowfoot says the snowpack in Northern California's Sierra Nevada mountains says it all.
I know you always look toward the snowpack in the Sierra. What do the last measurements tell you?
Well, the last measurements are pretty grim. Typically, we rely on our snowpack to melt very slowly over the spring and then provide water supply to 40 million Californians. We have a lot less snowpack than we've had in the past due to hotter winter temperatures. And then due to hotter spring and summer temperatures, more of that snow is either absorbing into very dry soils or evaporating into warm air.
The drought impacting parched farmlands and American dinner tables.
The tomatoes, the sweet corn, melons, things that we would normally have at the stores aren't going to be grown in the quantity this year than we're used to.
California provides 2/3 of the U.S. supply of fruits and nuts.
We're blessed with this Mediterranean-type climate here in California that nobody else has. And we can grow crops here that can't grow anywhere else.
So if you're putting pizza sauce on a pizza or you're making spaghetti, it doesn't matter if you're in New York or Boston or Denver or Seattle. Chances are the tomatoes that went into that came from a farm in California.
Farmer Bill Deitrich grows tomatoes, but not now.
No tomatoes this year because this water has got to be put to use on other crops that for us is less risky. We've had 3 very dry months. The impact on food production has been phenomenal. There could be as much as 600,000 acres not planted this year because of lack of water supply.
Many farms partly rely on groundwater, but if it's not stored in the good years, it can leave fields like this high and dry in the bad years.
We need to take advantage of wet years when they come, capture those peak flows so we can grow food with that water, get it either into a reservoir or into the ground so farmers have that available to plant crops.
Now state officials are under pressure to do something.
We've heard from farmers who complain that there's not enough being done to capture the water that falls during the good years.
Well, they have a good point. We have to do more to ensure that when we do receive these large winter storms, that we're capturing water, not only in our surface reservoirs, but pumping that water back underground.
So what's preventing that?
Historically, we have just not focused as much as we now need to on capturing every last drop of those storm flows in the winter. So, for example, we are investing billions of dollars in recharging groundwater basins, and those are infrastructure projects. In the past, where drought hasn't been as acute, we haven't needed to make those investments. But now, recognizing this new normal, we know we need to make those investments.
Time may have run out.
We're not looking down the road 5 years or 10 or 20 years. And what we're seeing is a diminished capacity to feed our own people. And that's the tragedy here. We don't have the water to grow the food that we could be growing here that makes it to the store that we all shop at.
So what's going to happen is we've already experienced inflation. We are going to experience now shortages that's going to also drive prices up.
Hard times, hard choices, but for Joe Del Bosque, an unshaken belief in this land.
I never fail to just love what I see when we're planting. See some plants there in this great soil. These soils in this area produces some of the best melons in the country. And I'm very proud to be a part of that.